just gonna stand there,
hear me cry. That's alright because I love the way you fry. I love the way you fry.
Welcome back.
Are we on? We're on.
What about getting beamed up here?
Fantastic.
Better than that old school rocket shit, innit?
G4 are moving with the times, mate. That's all I can say.
Yeah, mate.
Beaming us up in a portal.
Mad.
Didn't even know that was a thing, but G4 make anything possible.
They do.
What happened was, right, they sent us up in a rocket, G4 claims, right? And then we actually claimed to G4 claims, about for G4 claims, saying this rocket's faulty.
It was giving me, what's that called? Whiplash?
Whiplash, aye. It was giving
whiplash.
Jamie whiplash, and it was just, it was not good. So they pulled a few strings and got the finger out and got
an interdimensional portal.
Aye, the interdimensional portal.
Which is weird, come through that, wasn't it?
And it's weird that it's in Motherwell of all places.
The centre of Motherwell.
Aye, who'd have thought? But hey, we're back.
Back again, bro.
Deep fried. Number 3.
I know, we're getting on to these fuckers, aren't we?
Aye. That's us. Got chucking it soon, man. Chucking it soon. No long left.
No?
Nah.
A week to go.
A week or two of this shite, and then we'll be
cancelled.
Look, I think we're cancelable.
I don't know. Do I chance it? Say some stuff.
Aye, right, Joseph this out and bleep this out and then that out as well. Think that'll do it.
Aye, sorry if that was offensive and that, but
No, we want it to offend people, but
aye.
we're trying to get cancelled. Oh, sorry about all those slurs.
I had to get it off my chest.
But hold on, wait, I need to, aye, there we go. But aye, man, we're back. Deep fried. What are we looking into this week? Wow. I think the most liked comment for you guys was about psychedelics. I'm sure it's on the screen right behind me as we're talking.
It was.
And thanks for the comment. Obviously, you know the script. In Deep Fried, you comment what you want us to go and research, look into, and it gets done. Men are the people.
Another comment.
We are the people.
Another comment was you look into the Uncanny Valley and that, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today.
So we're bringing you psychedelics and we're bringing you Uncanny Valley and a few other trickles of absolute joy.
Bits and bobs
and tiny wee knobs.
Can I tell you about what happened before we get portaled up here today?
Aye, what happened?
Today, right?
Tell me.
I could show you a video. We could put it up, right? It's not really, I didn't get the action. I didn't get like the good bit in the video, but I got the aftermath, right? So I was driving into the Morrison's garage in East Kilbride, right? This is probably still there, fucked. You could probably go and see it, right? I heard a big massive bang when I was driving in, and I looked up and it was an old guy pulling away. He had just reversed into a pump.
Aye.
And he was like pulling away and the back of his motor was all fucked. And the pump was sitting like, now it's usually like a pump where like, that's how much is going in, and then two big long bits in that.
Aye.
See the bit that's how much is going in? That was all sitting all bent into the actual things. It was like bits leaking out and all that, right? The old guy gets out his mad Honda Civic, goes round and starts trying to fill up, bro. What? Starts trying to fill up after smacking it, just goes like that. That's me fucking fuck my motor, no, still need petrol, just went round and then early Tano, you just heard, you can't use that pump, we're going to have to get an engineer out.
But mate, this is, I love the old people and shit out to all the pensioners listening to the podcast right now. We love you.
We do.
And all obviously the cauliflower ear guys. We love you as well. But aye man, the oldies are golden. Olden is golden.
Oldies goldies. Spectacular viewing,
mate,
bro.
they just don't give a fuck. They, you know, you must, I don't know, obviously maybe a mixture of, I don't know. Nah, because I mean, I was going to say it might be a bit of confusion, but he seems like exactly... Like, maybe he was like, I came here to get fucking petrol.
So I'm fucking
not leaving without the petrol.
All he did was like, so if you imagine that was like the front pump, and all he did was like reverse back and go to the other one. But the thing that pure amazed me is he didn't even check the back of his motor. So he got out the front and walked into the pump there and started trying to fill up, and then he had to reverse back, and then he did the exact same thing, and then walked around the front again and got in his motor. In the back, it was all hanging off.
You know what that reminds me of? Mind the Mad video. It's actually up near where I stay. It's at Kings Park and it's two mad cunts in a motor and they're heavy at them that and like they've crashed into like a pole on the road and they're like that. A guy's walking up filming them and that. We'll find it. And he like he's like he gets out. The guy who's driving gets so like a guy walks up to him like so I've actually put this plot in play for you guys, right? So it's this motor who's just went off the road, crashed straight into a lamppost, but they're just sitting and their headlight is completely off their motor and that, like the motor's wrote off basically, right? And fucking the two cunts are just still sitting in the motor, like must be wondering where they're.
Been out for like 2 days.
They look like, honestly, this guy walks up to a camera and he's like, "You alright, boys?" Not, and they're like, "What's happening, mate?" As if you're, "Aye, what do you want, mate?" No, I mean, they're sitting, their motor's wrote off, they're still sitting in it. And he's like, what's up your motor? And they're like, "Is it bad, aye?" And the guy who's driving it gets out the motor, starts trying to push it, like, through the lamppost with the passenger still in it. He's shouting at the passenger, "Reverse!" And he's also forgot he was the cunt driving the motor in the first place.
Oh mate, that is
Reverse,
unreal,
reverse! It's a goat video, honestly. That is one of the, I'm so proud it was kind of near where I
Was it
stayed.
actually near Canberra?
Kings Park, aye.
Fuck's sake.
Which was obviously the Kings Park.
Aye.
Back in the day.
The park, the park for kings.
The King of Scotland's Park.
Aye. It's kind of like that fucking Aussie video and all pure old school internet thing, like wine for a mate. Is
Is it the one about they're like that? Have you been taking any drugs tonight, son? And he's like, "What are drugs?"
He's like, I'm just waiting for a mate. And he goes,
waiting for a mate. That's it.
That's a pure OG YouTube thing, innit?
Back in how old do you think that video is? Probably like 10 years.
10 years, something
12
like
years.
that, aye.
Mate, how scary is it? Like seeing a mad famous YouTube video that like you've known for years and you look and it's like 13 years old or something. You're like,
mate, the video on like the thing I'm talking about today, my fried topic. I looked on one and I was like, I remember watching this, man. It felt like 5-6 years ago, 12 years ago, man. 12, we're old bastards, mate.
and that's a dozen.
A baker's dozen.
A baker's dozen, man.
What is? I mean, that's 13. Do you know that?
No. What, a baker's dozen?
Aye, that means 13. I don't know the history.
I never. Do you know what? Honestly, I'm.
In case the cat eats it.
In case
the baker's cat eats it.
Eats a loaf of bread. Imagine a cat eat a loaf of bread. He'd be fuming.
Mate, I walked in my living room today and my dog had a packet of chewing gum and he was eating a chewing gum like that. I was like, what are you doing, man? He's looking at me. What you want?
Pops it in your face.
Mate, but even, so see it's deep fried, right? And obviously, one thing we've no done on deep fried, I was thinking about this today, is a wee riddle. What do you think of it, a wee riddle?
Don't mind if I
A wee
do.
old there riddle. And I've heard big rumours about you, Jamie Kelly, the cat's out the bag, that you're a big Shellick man, eh? Would you say you're a big Shellick man?
Aye.
Right, so this is a question for you at home as well. Let's do this. So let's see if Jamie Kelly gets it right. So there's a man, right?
Right.
Who
Henrik Larsson.
fuck. Captain of Scotland,
Right.
captain of Celtic,
Right.
and his dad's Jamaican.
Is it like pre-2000s?
Aye.
Is it Gil Heron Scots boy?
No.
I don't know.
No idea.
No.
Can't think any more.
No.
Can't think any ex-Celtic players that their dad.
Might have been Jamaican.
So he's
Scott Marley.
captain of Scotland, captain of Celtic, and his dad's Jamaican.
He can't be captain of Scotland and his dad be... Oh, yeah.
But he's know what I mean?
Obviously. I mean, I've not got a clue.
Roy Aitken.
Aye?
Aye. Captain of Celtic, captain of Scotland, his dad's Jamaican.
Oh, that's so bad, mate. That's so bad.
Oh,
That's Jim Aitken.
his dad, Jamaican painter and decorator, man.
Was that your dad?
In the Bells Hill area. Oh man, beautiful stuff. But
Oh, mate, I thought I was getting caught out. I thought you were trying to cancel me there. I felt attacked there.
this is in, you can only cancel yourself, mate. So
That's true,
just
mate.
watch what you're saying, mate.
That's true.
But should we get into the friedness? What should we go for first? I think maybe we should honour the people's. Do you think we should go for the people's first?
Aye, most like comment first, of course.
So the most liked comment was obviously about psychedelics. Now, we were thinking about how to do this and we were thinking like, should we go hard in the paint and make the full episode about psychedelics? Because like if you were to discuss every part of Psychedelics, you would need a full episode.
It deserves a full episode.
It deserves a full episode. So we just chose one.
Aye.
And the one we've chosen is LSD.
Everybody's favourite.
And I've been looking into a bit of LSD, and let's just talk about the history. The history, if you know your history. So, LSD, man, have you ever tried it?
Aye, of course.
Have you?
Aye.
Oh my God,
I
man.
haven't.
Somebody phone the police.
Any authorities listening?
Lee Sutherland, get the police in here. But LSD, man, so let's talk a wee bit about the history of LSD. Obviously, we know it as acid. The street slang.
Acid.
Do you know think there's certain, no, it's no way acid, but do you know think there's certain words like that people say, and it, like, so see when people talk about, say, cannabis, right? See when I hear the word cannabis, it just sounds like a Polish to me, because nobody, like, you wouldn't be like, oh, you got any cannabis, mate? Like, that just sounds like a Polish talking.
Can I have 3 cannabis, please, bro?
Excuse me, mate, who's selling the cannabis round here? Any of you's got any cannabis on you? That's just like a police officer.
I would like to purchase 1 cannabis, sir.
Aye, 1 cannabis. But aye, back to LSD. So way back in the digital day, man, a guy called Dr. Albert Hoffman, right?
Legend.
He was like an organic chemist, and what he done was he was trying to make something, right, that was like for midwives to use, that would stop bleeding during pregnancies,
right,
or like after pregnancies, like to just something that people could take and they wouldn't bleed as much during pregnancy or afterwards. So he's fucking about, obviously, Big Al. Fucking about with mad shit and just bolts and all that, washers, hammers and that. And
16 spanners.
he came across this little substance that we know as LSD. Mm-hmm. But he didn't obviously mean it. He didn't know what it was, right? So he wouldn't have just taken it or whatever, right? So while he's looking for this kind of medicine for the pregnancies, this chemical goes in his fingers, seeps into his fingers, right? So so imagine actually taking acid and you don't know you're taking it.
Mate, that is mad.
That's probably the scariest thing you could.
The only way to describe it, the only way you'd be able to rationalise it to yourself is you're dying in it.
Aye, that's kind of what he goes on today, right? Because he takes it now. Let's just picture this, people, right? Obviously, even knowingly taking acid and shit, right? You take it and you're like, fuck me, this is wild, right?
Aye.
So imagine you took it no knowing, right? But forget that, right? Because I mean, you could take it no knowing and figure it out, right? Imagine you're the first guy to ever take it. Right? You'd be like, what in the absolute fuck's going on, right? So he accidentally takes it, right? But he doesn't just take a tiny bit, right? He accidentally doses himself with 5 times the amount, like, that's qualified as a hit. So say like a tab, he essentially took 5 tabs for the first time he's ever done it. You know what I mean? The first acid trip ever was like outrageous, right? So he done that, and then so he says that he took it, obviously, right? And he says it started to feel very strange, obviously, right? He said, here's some things he was saying there. So he began to feel very strange, noting that he felt very childlike again.
Mate,
and
that's a thing.
Felt, I'm going to tell you about it, mate. And he felt like filled with wonder. And the main thing he said he felt was a oneness with the world, which, you know,
Class.
like, I think everybody who's ever tried it will vouch for that. Like, the one thing I found, like, I remember taking it for the first time and then walking home, right? And I remember, like, walking home from my pal Paige, give Paige a shout out. Obviously, he's just involved with any chaos.
I was gonna say.
So walking home for Paige's, I'm walking home and I'm looking at myself, and then I'm looking at the ground, and I'm looking at grass, and I'm looking at other people, and then I'm looking at the sky, and in that one moment I realised, oh wait, like, I'm a person and that's a tree, but we're actually all the one thing.
Aye.
Like, we are all the one
consciousness.
Consciousness. Like, fair dues, I might be made of this and that tree might be made of fucking bark and whatever, but we're the same thing. But I've never felt that before or after. Like, because I've done it, now I know.
You've had the realisation.
I've had the realisation, but I can't feel it. Like, I don't feel that feeling, because I remember walking home and feeling that and going, oh my God, I'm gonna tell everybody about what I've just figured out. Like, honestly, I can't believe I figured this out. Like, thank God I've tried this now. Now I can actually go and tell the world about this revelation that I've just had. And then I remember waking up and I remember talking to my girlfriend the next day and being like, yeah, right, like, this. And she, like, I was looking at a tree and then I was thinking, like, we're all the same thing, ain't we? And she was just like, what are you talking about?
But it's mad how, like, see, after it, see, during it, you're like, right, this is right and all that, and it's like, you've nae, like, now it said, like, about feeling childlike again, it's like, it makes you just pure, and no care about it, and pure uninhibited and all that, and then see, how mad is it when you come off it, how smacked back down to earth you are, how, like, this is obviously going to sound pure stupid, bro, right, but actual pure felt one with earth, man, like, you pure trying it.
Like, you're not, like, pure, as if, I'm a tripper, like, no, don't listen to this. But when you're all, like, you would say it with 100% confidence because it's what you feel at that moment.
You would do a webinar about it.
Aye, exactly, mate. But after an hour, so he cycled home, right? Imagine that cycle, like he cycled home for the lab in Switzerland, right? So he's cycling home and he said that the world, and you'll get this as well, the world felt like it had been put through a curved mirror.
Aye.
And I was like, that sounds pure accurate.
Aye.
But he said, obviously he didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? So he went home, he began to feel very strange, he started feeling nauseous, right? He was essentially tripping out his absolute boxer shorts here, people. He explained it, as I said, it seemed like everything looked like a curved mirror, and he actually thought that he gave himself permanent brain damage.
Aye.
Because you would think you're absolutely insane. So he thought he gave himself permanent brain damage. So when he's in his house, his neighbour comes to check on him and he goes to the door and she transformed into a witch. Now imagine you don't know you're tripping. Because if you're tripping, you're like, it's scary, but you're like, oh, I know I've took that. So
I'll need to go away and sit
I need to chill out a bit. But he's like, oh my God, there's a witch at my door.
That is mad.
And it's like back in like the 40s, so he's obviously like, fucking what the fuck's going on?
It was 1940, aye?
1943. 1943.
Mate,
they actually like found the chemical 1938, but no one took it till 1943.
He done it by accident.
And he done it by accident.
Mate, see him when you said he thought he had permanent brain damage, right? See after Tina Park once, and obviously we're doing all this shit, right? I was sitting in my room, right, and I went to sleep for like, no, you go to sleep for pure hours, like went to sleep for like 15 hours and woke up the next day, and I had like, see out this, like the corner of my eyes, I had that colourful, mad kaleidoscope vision, but just like up here, and I kept going, and I kept looking at it and all that, but right, see when I was doing that, and then it was like moving about and all that, and it was like, I had a pure sore head and all, and I was like, I've obviously just fucked something. Like, I don't know if it was like my retinas or something, or like my actual brain was just fucked, and I just pure accepted it. And then a few hours later, I drank some water and I was just heavy dehydrated.
That makes sense.
But that's actually what I thought because of that shit at all.
Like, mate, it's mad because it's weird when like you're it's starting to wear off, but like you still look at your phone and all the apps are like fucking like all the words are doing that. Mate, do you know, like, so I heard that I heard this, you'll be able to tell me this, like, when you take acid, it never goes out your body.
I don't know, is it not?
I heard that, like, it's never out your system.
I heard it
because,
goes
like,
out
see,
after
mate,
the trip.
No, like, but it's like, I don't know where I heard that. That could be total shite. Somebody tell us in the comments if that's all a shite. But I heard, like, when you take it, it's never out of your system. Like,
it's in your hair or something?
Like, it never leaves your body.
Because it's always been known to me, like, if you take it, it's one of the things you can do a drug test the next day.
But I think it's in your system in another way. Like they can't. I don't know. We'll need to look at it.
I kind of know what you mean.
But I don't. That could be just a bullshit thing I heard. Like, I'm no vouching for that at all.
A lot of chewing gum stays in your body your whole life.
Maybe that.
It was your RE teacher.
It was my granny, mate. My granny was like, "Don't take that.
I'll never leave you.
I'll never leave you." And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Is a middle woman tripping me on that?
A witch at your door. Right, wait. I'm taking this training hat off.
It's heavy embarrassing, bro.
Well,
Sitting in here with a training cap on, we've been up like 3-4 times now.
I know. I was nervous at the start, but I'm kind of into it now, know what I mean?
Get a hat off, man.
I know, mate.
We'll be sitting here in the scud soon enough, man.
I'm going to be like my big brother Evan. I know, mate. I'm wearing Ugg boot slippers today.
Comfort is key, that's all I can say.
Comfort is key, brother.
Aye, but back to old Al. So, obviously, he fucking starts tripping at his box, and he says that after his neighbour left, he said he just felt like he calmed down a bit and he was starting to enjoy it. He was starting to really enjoy it, and he said he felt like he was on a journey of like self-discovery. So he felt like he was looking at his life for like an outside perspective without his ego attached to it, and like actually being able to analyse his decisions and tell himself that. So say you have like a habit that you kind of convince yourself is all right for yourself, but deep down you know, this is no right.
Like smoking snout.
Smoking snout. Just things that you maybe your body wants, so it convinces you that it's a good idea to do these things. So it was like he could look at his life from that perspective and taking his ego out it and going that. That actually is a bad decision what I'm doing, and as you were saying about the ego death, it's like a real thing. But that's like a thing you can get, because people get that people that get that meditating and like ayahuasca, like that's like just a trip.
It's like just a spiritual journey, mate. So it's like people can do it sober, they meditating, but you need to meditate for so many years.
Well, how would you see for somebody who maybe doesn't know what, like, they kind of know ego death, but like, how would you explain it to somebody?
It's like when you strip yourself of like all material things, and it's like you realise that like nothing actual means anything. Like the only thing that matters is what you were saying, like oneness, one consciousness, and like all that shit.
So you let go of that sort of attachment. That attachment to needing to be something with some status, or like having a big house, or my motor's massive. And I think it's interesting you say that, because I think I wouldn't say I've had a complete ego death or whatever, but I think definitely after doing things like that, you almost go through a door that you can't go back through. You actually see, oh wait, none of that shit does matter. Like I remember what done that for me, especially, well, not especially, but the first kind of thing that ever done that for me was Fight Club. You ever seen Fight Club? And it's like the whole idea, like because I remember when I seen that, I was still relatively young. I was maybe like 14, 15, so I was still figuring things out about the world and that. And I remember watching that, and I was like, oh, like it was a pure realization, like, oh, none of that shit matters one bit.
I know.
Like it only matters because society tells you it matters. No, because it actually does.
It's weird, mate, because see, like that spiritual side of it. So there's not a lot of things that like science and spirituality like agree on, but it's that, mate. It's that like nothing does actually matter. So see, like scientists kind of believe like. No, saying that's pure vague, not I mean, like scientists believe this, but I mean, like I've seen scientists talking about how minuscule we are in comparison to the universe, so it's like don't get caught up in the wee thing. Obviously that's daft to say, because it's like people have anxiety and different problems and that. Don't worry about things, but we shouldn't as humans, do you know what I mean? But it's society that's giving us these kind of troubles, but then
and giving us anxiety.
Exactly. But then also like on the spiritual side, it's like, mate, it's even stuff on a more practical level, like see like the tribes in in Australia, what's it called? Indigenous people in Australia, they make like, see the tribe leader, see when he gets like made to be tribe leader, they make him walk into the bush, so like the forest, for like 100 days, so that he comes back and he's like stripped himself of everything that matters, like everything that matters, know what I mean? And that's just so that he's a better leader and shit. And that
so he's not
like,
get that ego, so he's like a leader of people, and he acts in the interest of everybody rather than himself.
Exactly. So that's like a thing that it's just always happened. Do you know what I mean?
But it's interesting. I was listening to that. Do you know how Alan Watts? You ever heard him, right? So I was listening to him, and he was talking about how we should never. LSD obviously lets you see the oneness at everything. So that also means though that, like, say somebody that was in here that is totally against, they look at LSD and go, it's a drug, drugs are bad, why do you act, but you're not meant to take that, like, or that sort of line of thinking, right? But we would like think you're a bit of a square or whatever. That would be your sort of thinking, do you know what I mean? But he says that we are no different in a way, because if you want to look at it like that, he described it as like, we should never try and convince them to be anything other than that, because the analogy he used is like they're walking up a tightrope trying to keep up this act, and if you shout at them, like, they're going to be agitated because it might throw them off the line of thinking. And he was saying that, so I mean, if you're wanting to talk about being like so far out and shit, they're approaching the world in the complete sort of wrong way. They're refusing to look at it, and then that's the most far out thing you can actually do. So it's like, no matter like how opposite you think two things are, they're actually the same thing.
It's like you go run that much that it becomes that other thing. So you go and you're that radical and all that, you end up becoming quite conservative and shit. It's like the way like people talk about the left getting people cancelled and that, which is like,
left's meant to be like open and like,
Aye,
but as soon as somebody says something that they don't like, they attack them and try and get them sacked and shit. Like they've went so far left that they're actually nearly right.
Conservative. Aye, mate, that's mad, that shit. I was actually thinking about that, like in like films and stuff and all. It's like, it used to be like conservatives now are like, oh, free speech and that. Obviously it's had kind of different meanings to it and that. Like the right are saying free speech because they want to be racist and sexist and shit, but like that used to be the line in like the 70s of like hippy dippy people and that. And now it's like, no, you can't say that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's weird the way everything like turns in like that.
But in the 80s and all that, where all the music, where the conservatives wanted to ban all the things like metal and rap songs and all that, but now it's
went another way around. It's like a mad fucking, it's like a view in the arts that's going to be, it's going to, like, it used to be a pure liberal thing, like arts, and then now it's kind of like, it's getting silenced by the left a wee bit, know what I mean?
I know, it's mad.
You do get cancellations for both sides though, don't
Aye,
you?
no, you do. Aye.
But I feel like, though that I'm either side, I'm just sitting, I'm Switzerland, bro, I'm writing that. I'm just like, I don't, that's the thing, like, people want to like go, I am this, and be like, I just don't think what I think, like, I'm no completely for one, like, there's good and bad things in both, there's good and bad things in everything, that's what we're talking about, like, there's no good without bad, there's no affront without a bad, like, everything that you think is a polar opposite is all the one thing, because one can't exist without the other.
Aye.
But see, just back on like LSD, like, obviously, so he discovers this, and he loves it, right? That Big Al absolutely loves it, finds himself going on this big journey of self, like, discovery and like all this stuff. So then primarily in the 50s it got used just clinically, so people weren't really taking it for like recreationally. It was more just like they were trying to like suss out, well, what can we use this for? Like, this can be used, because he went back to the lab, right, and obviously done his tests on it, and he established, listen to this, that I can't get this wrong. 1 teaspoon of the drug was enough to get render, this is the words I use, render 50 people temporarily insane, which is a term that I love, temporarily insane. How good is that?
We go
that's
temporarily
like
insane.
like people should just start replacing that with like, you getting on it, here you getting temporarily insane. I don't know, mate, I'm heavy skint, man, don't get paid till next Tuesday.
I fucked it last week, mate. I was actually nearly permanently insane. I was that temporarily insane, I nearly went permanent.
Mate, honestly, I was on it for, I was temporarily insane for so long, bro.
Mate, see if you imagine a teaspoon, right? So see a tab, it's like literally the size of fucking, it's tiny. And that's just that dipped in that. So a teaspoon is ridiculous, mate.
A teaspoon is enough to get 50 people, render them temporarily insane, But see,
you couldn't have said it better yourself,
mate,
know what I mean?
no, see, because obviously we have to do research for this, so obviously we don't just like know this shit, are you joking? And that when I was listening to him talking, and he was like, it came up, render 50 people temporarily insane. I was like, that's the best term I've ever heard, man.
What was he, Austrian or something?
He was Swedish, but he was working in Switzerland.
Jump ship.
He was shagging a wee Swiss bird. Put my wee Swiss hang, bruh. Healthy hanger. But in the 50s, mate, it was just getting used in sort of experiments and stuff. What they initially wanted to do was give it to nurses and doctors, and it was so that, because they established, right, that like in hospitals in America and stuff, that schizophrenic people were some of the most marginalised people. So like people couldn't understand them enough to properly care for them, because obviously, like, say you break your leg, I know that that's fucking bad, so I'd be like, Jamie, you want to hone in? Do you want me to kick it? Do you like that?
I'd be like, yes.
So it was hard to understand them, so it made caring for them in hospitals and shit harder. So what they wanted to do was give the nurses and doctors LSD, and then have them try and explain their trips, because obviously you can't explain your trip to somebody, so then they would understand what it was like to explain the thoughts in your head.
That's
so,
mad,
so they could have more empathy for the schizophrenic people and then care for them better. But they obviously realised that's fucking not going to work here.
That's insane.
That is not going to work. So they then moved on to treat alcohol, like alcoholism. So they wanted to, because as we said, it has that quality of making you look at your life like without your ego, because obviously ego and addiction, does that go together? Sort of, like, it's all part of yourself, innit? It's all part of like your identity, what you think you are. So like, if you're somebody who drinks too much like an unhealthy rate, then if you can take that, their thinking was you take this and you can actually analyse your life properly and realise that you shouldn't be drinking.
You reflect on it.
And mate, this is the mad thing. They've done this in Saskatchewan in Canada, and after one hit of LSD, right, just one hit, that wasn't like every week or every day you need to take it, one hit of LSD, they done trials in some research centres, and it had a 90% success rate, as in those people successfully improved their life in some way or another.
Alcoholics?
Aye, so it was alcoholics. So what they done is gave them one hit. Wait, I've got it here. So it was used to try and treat alcohol addiction because it was believed to generate a fresh perspective on your life. So it had a 90% improved life rate at some research units after one year. So like one hit, and then a year later, 90% of those people who were like addicted to alcohol had improved their life. But what that doesn't necessarily mean they completely cold turkey quit alcohol. What it meant was, like, so say you're an alcoholic, right? Drink every day, don't even see your family and that, you fucked it, right? Say after that LSD that you're like, fuck, like, I need to tone my drinking down so I can see my kids. So like some people are coming back and going, my life's improved because I still drink sometimes, but now I have a relationship with my family. I go and exercise.
You're healthier.
So like 90% success rate.
What was the other 10% just addicted to acid?
They never come back, bro. they never made it back to
this. That's the cunts in the tune that hold up like love signs and
no, it's that guy that's got the plays on the bins with the cats.
The wee cats.
We should get him on the fucking podcast. Does he talk? Can he talk?
I seen Silent Raver and him doing a wee performance.
A duo, mate. They do that sometimes. I think Leo goes down in his lunch break and has a wee rave with him.
We could get Leo to like sit there
and dance in the corner, like the sign language guy. Leo
Is that disrespectful or that? No. If he was just storing, like, what do you think? If he was just storing there,
he'd be making an honest day's work.
Silently raving. What would we pay him? $5,000.
You could date for home if you had
Date for home.
We could just put him up behind us dancing the full podcast.
Aye, we should do that.
Leo Mushet, if you're listening,
he still wishes me happy birthday.
Does he?
Every year.
How did you get that sort of relationship with Leo Mushet?
I don't know, mate. I've got him on Facebook and he just wishes happy birthday every year.
Maybe he's just a nice guy who like sees it. To be honest, right, and this is a bit of an ego thing, right? Mm-hmm. Say somebody messages you that but you're like maybe not seen them a few years, and they message you saying, "Happy birthday, man. Hope you've had a great day." It's then a mental note for you to go, I need to fucking say happy birthday to them back.
Mate, it should be, but I don't do it, man. I'm really bad for it.
Well, what is it like?
Do you know some of my pals have actually fell out with me because I've put up pictures for some people saying happy birthday, bro. And then some of my pals have been like, I'll call him out, Scott Bowie. Scott Bowie actually texted me once for the first time in about a month. I was like, what's happening, mate? No heard you in a while. And he done, I never posted it for my birthday, but I'm over it now. He had like unfollowed me and all that.
Really?
Aye, mate.
How close are you with him out of 10?
Aye, very 10.
That's a bit
I know, it's really bad, isn't it?
Did you know him say happy birthday?
I did.
This is, look, I'll fight your corner here, right? Mm-hmm. See the whole, posting for my birthday? Like, no,
fuck off.
No, because do you know what? See, before the internet and all that shit, mate, people just said, happy birthday, mate. Happy birthday. And then that was it. There wasn't a pure, here's the picture from the year. Here's the picture from my birthday.
Or like here's the stories that's like, happy birthday to my fucking boy.
Aye, and it's pure, had the best time ever with you on your birthday. Great times make great. What was a fly?
Happy birthday, fly.
Happy birthday to the fly.
Look at that cunt,
oh my
actually. Box that Hida. Sounds like a sexual thing, doesn't it? Mate, do you know what we were talking about on New Year's, right? Do you mind? Comment if you remember this, right? When you used to have to, like, use like SMS, like the green texts. You still do. But
not anymore.
Oh, what's that? Oh,
well, no, I've not set it up yet.
Trips. You want to tell the trips?
I got an iPhone.
I'm so happy.
I'm back on the iPhones, man. I've not had one since 2013. I don't. Look. Here's. See, I got this iPhone, man, and I unboxed it, and I was actually looking forward to it. I was like, I'm fed up of having these shitty, pure, shit quality Instagram stories. Camera's fucked. the phone started being fucked in general, right? So I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting an iPhone, man. Let's get back on the bandwagon. And I open it up, right? And I'm like, fucking brilliant. Oh, there's a wire. No, you don't get a plug of that. And then I pull this wire out and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? It's...
Aye.
They've got a new plug out, mate.
I got a new phone the other day.
Hey, Apple, what was wrong with the first one, mate?
It provides fast charging at 10 watts.
Why do you need to change the
actual...
About power delivery.
No, mate, because listen, my Android phone, mate, has fast charge and it's just a normal USB.
They could make like a one at that speed, but if even faster fast charger requires...
Oh, listen.
See, when I got this phone, they said
He's
to me...
getting commission, man, this guy.
They said to me on the phone, you don't get the actual plug anywhere because we're cutting down on packaging. It's like, right, sound, like, you want to buy one? I was like, what, like the new? And they go, aye, why don't your next bill? I was like, fuck it, aye. It was 35 quid, right? And I was like...
Just for a plug?
For the actual plug, right? So I was like, fair dues, like an Apple plug, mate. It came and it was like a mad black, like big stupid thing, like it's fucking Toyota or something.
Hyundai plug, man.
Ridiculous plug. But what was I saying there? What was I talking about?
Old guy was drinking petrol or something.
Drinking petrol?
That would have been a better story, mate.
What was that?
Texts.
Aye, so at New Year, you used to have to send a text at like 9 o'clock for it to get there at 12.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, they had it... Send them where?
Like, used to have to send them early because, like...
You didn't need to send them at 9.
No,
it was like
11,
5 minutes before that.
Aye, like half 11 and all
9
that.
o'clock. Where is this? The 70s?
But mate, you used to have to do that or cunts would get raging. See, this year for, like, at New Year, I was out and... I didn't even like phone or text my man that. I think that's gone away. That like, oh, happy New Year, like, hope you have a good one.
Manners are gone away, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
Being kind, bro, that's gone away, is it? Is it, people? Being nice.
I was going to ask if you think the birthday thing will go away. If you used to think that's stupid.
We just ended it, bro. We cancelled happy birthdays there.
And it, see if one of the cunts that are watching this.
Happy birthday to my fucking gal. Had the fucking best times ever with you. Can't wait to make more memories. It's like I have had to watch 25 videos of you dancing mad with it. I don't need to see one single more. Say happy birthday. Answer me this, people, right? Answer me this. Why does it mean more to like post a picture and say happy birthday than just saying happy birthday through like a verbal communication, like a text? Like, no, that's not verbal, but you know what I mean. Like,
so I've actually met this person.
Here's proof. But it's like, see you saying happy birthday to me and then you didn't put a post up, right? I would be like, well, he said happy birthday. I don't care beyond that. That's because we've taken acid.
Nothing matters.
Oh, you cunts are putting up all sorts of stories and that for your fucking birthday, mate. Take some acid, man. Chill out, fuck shit.
Fuck it.
Chill out, take some LSD with Big Al.
Are you done with your acid?
Oh, I've not even started, bro. So we moved on for alcohol addiction, right? They've moved on by that. By the 60s, it's out there, baby, right? People are loving it, right? People are...
The swinging 60s?
Don't. The swinging 60s, baby, right? So people are just taking it recreationally. And then, you know, you could just get it. So then, obviously, in America at this time, there starts to be a lot of colleges that are protesting against the Vietnam War. A lot of people, especially in California. So there was a lot of protest going on back then. Everybody was loving LSD, but everybody loving LSD meant that there was a lot of bootleg LSD kicking about. Right. You know, that wallet LSD on top of it. that LSD that has been in the cupboard for a while. That isn't actually LSD at all. It's like other shit that just makes you trip.
Kitchen manufactured shit that we spoke about before.
Aye, fucking bucket water, a tab dipped in bucket water, man. I'm going to try that.
I was just about to say. And we've got one here.
Live in the podcast. But so a lot of bootleg acid kicking about. So like people, and then there's like a lot of episodes of people taking too much and like committing crime. So like fucking the whole thing, jumping out a window and all that. Like this shit starts to happen because of the sheer amount of people that are taking it. And then the US government are like, right, we need to crack down on this. People are getting their hands on this too easily. And people are now like being injured or dying for like fake stuff or like, do you know what I mean? So they make it illegal, right? But the whole thing with that is weird because it's like, right, that's their reason for making it illegal, but at the same time, the government in America were obviously for the Vietnam War, right?
Aye.
And then if you've got all these kids protesting it that are all taking acid and seeing the world for what it is and seeing that wars shouldn't be happening, and you know what I mean, that a lot of people waking up, the last thing the government wants is that. The governments want people on board with wars.
Don't want the masses enlightened, bro.
No, you don't want them to have a brain, bro, you know what I mean? So the thinking is that people made it illegal then, because then if you make it an illegal substance, the government can then go, what, like, see the people who were in maybe the middle ground about the Vietnam War, like, they obviously had the young sort of people who were like, no, this is wrong, and they were never going to get them back on their side. But then you've got this middle ground of people who are like, don't know who to trust, the government, or like these people are like, I know war's bad, but we need to go to war. The government can then point at all the people taking LSD and go, they're full of illegal drugs. Why would you listen to them? Look at me, I'm wearing a big fancy suit.
Securing the swing bottles and it.
And then that's, and also they kind of believe that it got made illegal because it's, so if you don't know, LSD is not addictive at all. It's actually got anti-addictive qualities. So you'll know if you've took it, the last thing you want to do when you wake up or whatever is take it again. Like you just, it's just no, it's just...
But if you've no took it, but it's like you don't get a come down, don't you know? It's not like you can wake up and get about and day shit.
Nah, it's no... Sound, it's, you know what I will say? Like, obviously, we do not condone taking any illegal substances at all. Yous know that. The police know that. But see, when you're taking LSD, man, and I hate saying LSD. I
just say acid.
Acid. And when you're taking acid, honestly, it does feel pretty... You don't feel dirty. You don't feel like I've taken something that's horrible, and like it feels like a pretty natural experience.
It just feels like you're...
It's my opinion anyway.
It's because it's no, as well, it's not a lot of like body shit. Like, do you know how, like, would you say, like, with gear and all that, it's like you get increased heart rate and you start sweating more and all that. Whereas it's more just on here, you know what I mean? And it's not just like you're seeing things, it just changes the way you think.
It is on there, because I remember, like, first time I tried it, and I was with my pal, Paige. And I remember, like, there was a bit and I could feel it was, we were in his and we were playing FIFA, mate, and we played Real Madrid against Romania, right? As you do.
Who won?
Mate, I think it was like 7-8 or something to somebody, mate. Romania. And honestly, it was to Romania. Romania nicked at the end, mate. Mutu hat-trick.
Actual baller,
he was a baller, mate. Andy loved a bit of the old Pat Sai. But we were like, and somehow, I don't know if we were tripping or this was really happening, but we were scoring goals for like 40 yards and pure like that mad intense giggle. And then I remember, like, there was a point though and things were getting a bit intense, and I just remember looking at Paige and he was fine, and because I could see that he was fine, it just pure calmed down for me, because it literally is all that's in your head is like your trip basically. So if you try it and you're in a heavy bad place mentally, like, there's a good chance it's not going to go well for you. And with the wrong people and stuff like that.
That's what, like, when I've done it with my pals and all, like, I'll not say his name because he's in the Navy, right? But
in the Navy.
But when I've done that with him and all, he says, like, see if he looks at me, see, because it's a mad familiar face, he's like, oh, it's all good. Know what I mean?
Mate, that's a real thing, man. It's like, it's
a grounding thing, I think, like, because it takes you for going and exploring other worlds with your head. It takes you to, oh, I am here and we did that and that's why this is happening, so it's all good. Mate, even if you're in a bad place, it's like, this is all happening because of this. Like, it makes you realise if you're with somebody, you know.
Aye, definitely. I remember that time we were with another boy whose name I won't mention, but he will know I'm talking about him. And we were walking down to this party, which was the worst decision we could have ever made. There was 3 years just having a great time in Pages, and then people were on it, like mad with it, like, and it's like the total wrong atmosphere, you know what I mean? So we went down, and it was, as soon as we got there, now that way you just feel the atmosphere is not good anymore. You're like, oh no, this was a bad idea. And we went down, but the other boy that we were with, right, his dad's a taxi driver, and we are walking down for Pages. It's like a 10-15 minute walk. It's just a big straight road right down the main street and that. And we hear, like, I'll say Arnold, his name's not Arnold, but we just heard pure, oh no, hey Arnold, like pure, oh no, like pure off and that, like, drifting away, and we're like, are we tripping or what? And we're like, we defo just heard somebody shout your name, bro, and he's like, what did you know? Like that. And then we got down, mate, but it was his dad in a taxi driving by, like, shouting on him, pure, oh no, then he's pure, Well, I'm trapping, man.
Did he drive that way and then drive back?
Mate,
and then
I don't know what he was doing.
no.
Maybe we just heard that a few times. But we got back to there for a while. We got back to Pages, and then this boy went home, and then he phoned Pages. He was like, "I've left my joggies in yours, bro. I'm going to come back round and get them." It's about 7 a.m. on like a Sunday morning, right? So we're like, he lives about a 15-minute walk away, right? Mate, see in 5 minutes, we just heard right? And we're like, he's driving, right? He was still out his banger completely, right? We're like, he's driving. And we go out, mate, and he's not even in his motor. He's in his big brother's motor, right? Oh, no. And we're like, there's your joggies, man. You're mental driving. And he's like, fuck it. I couldn't be arsed walking. We're like, right, sound like that. Would you take your brother's motor for? He's like, well, you're off your nut, mate. And he's like, I need to get back down the road. And then fucking like, I remember Pages like that, shows how fast, it was like America or something, it was like that, shows how fast that can go, and he just booted it up the street. And we're like, mate, what is going on there?
Imagine you're like, how'd you get a hold of a bus, bro?
the uniform on that, he's like,
one of them had yellow school buses.
What the fuck, man? But aye, that's my thing on LSD, man. You can... Mate,
I loved that.
Oh, hey guys, you remember that famous song from back in the day? I think it would have been the 1990s or something. And it went a little bit like this. I want candy. Well, I'm bringing out a new version. And it's going to be called I Want Sound Financial Advice. And you know where I go for my financial advice, guys? Investor Watch UK. Now, we've done everything right. We've rapped, we've loved, we've held each other in our arms through this camera. And now I need you to listen to me, because we're getting you a month free with Investor Watch. No commitments. Don't need to pay after the first month, and try it for a month. Go down to the description. The link's there. Make sure you go through Reilly's Gaff in the link, and you will get a month free, guys. And don't take my word for it. Listen to these stats. So, last 3 months of 2021, if you wanted to get involved with crypto and you took that leap, you used our link. If you joined the last 3 months of 2021, guys, your crypto would be up by 29%. Just after their advice. Madness. Forex as well. They're no slacking on the old Forex. Last 3 months of 2021, up 21.4%. Now, this is how you know they're legit, right? Because these are steady gains. It's not like, just put all your money to this one thing and it's going to be brilliant. It's not like that. These are guys who know what they're talking about. Calm men in the financial sector. But let me break it down into real numbers. That's a lot of percentages for you guys, right? Let me break it down for, the working man. If you started with 400 quid in the last 12 weeks of 2021, yeah, that's 3 months, baby. If you started with 400 quid, you would have 1,500 quid right now. Sounds like a good deal to me. Easy as that. So go try it out, guys. Go down to the description, follow our link, take a month for free, see what happens. Thanks, guys. This is the sound of the clippers. And that's what it sounds like in Myles Co when I'm getting my hair cut, man. And I actually asked if he could turn that noise off. Terrible service. Nah, I'm only joking. We love you at Myles Co. As I always mention, young Campbell, sort me out with the fades. Not recently, I need to get myself down there, but Jesus Christ, that boy can work a clipper. Can work a clipper or two. You've got Deck in there as well. You've got Callum. And you've also got Ryan, who we've all heard the descriptions of Ryan. So you need to get down and see that for yourself in person. But you know where they are, guys. Myles Co, heart of the West End, baby. 261 Byres Road. Easy as that. Go down there. And when you go in, you're getting your hair cut, you're thinking, I've heard on Reilly's Gaff so many times, Myles Co, I'm going to go down and see what it's all about. Make sure when you're getting called up to that chair, you're mentioning Reilly's Gaff. Say, you don't even need to go like Reilly's Gaff, like a mad code word or something. You can just say, I seen you on Reilly's Gaff. It's so funny and the best thing ever. You could say that. Or you could just say, I've seen you in Reilly's gaff, but that wouldn't be as nice with it. So when you're going in, when you're booking through the Booksy app as well, write Reilly's gaff in the notes when you're booking it. Because any way you mention us, you're going to get money off. It's as easy as that. Who else is getting you money off your haircuts? Your mum? Your dad? I mean, he left years ago. So think about that. Thanks, Trips. Guys, I was talking to your wee sister the other day. Your wee sister. Bumped into her when I was in Asda. She said, what a great big brother / sister you are. And she said, it's my birthday soon. And I was like, oh, really? What do you want? And she said, there's only one thing I want. And I said, what? Just tell me. Maybe I can get your brother / sister to get it. And she whispered in my ear, a Collection 26 hoodie. And I was like, I'll fucking sort that for you. And I can sort that for anybody. All you need to do is go down to the description and there's a wee link. And you'll find the best hoodies in Glasgow. Glasgow made. Go and support one of your own, right? Oh, flower of Scotland, as they say. When will we see the Collection 26 hoodie on thee? So there you go, man. Code Reilly's gaff at checkout when you're buying this hoodie. 10% off. Boom, boom. Just like that. Money off everywhere you look here at Reilly's gaff, honestly. So go take that leap. Go down to the description, click it, have a wee browse, and make sure when you're checking out you use that code. It would be very silly not to, wouldn't it? Cheers, guys.
Can I talk, like, leading in for that? Like, do you know how when you're on acid, how, like, faces look kind of weird?
Aye.
Like, your brain can't, like, recognise things, and sometimes that can lead to a bad trip and stuff. That's kind of got to do with my topic of the Uncanny Valley, right? So, do you know what Uncanny Valley is?
My thinking now is like something that's like something that you're looking at and you can't. It's weird, but you can't explain why.
Aye, like it's vaguely weird.
Aye, but there's no like if you had a big massive corn cob coming out your mouth and your eyeballs, I'd be like, geez a bit.
But if my mouth was just slightly bigger, you'd be like, there's something weird. But
aye. Do
you know what I mean, right? So that's what it is. So, right. So see when you're talking about it, right? So see, you can see her here, right? You've got a graph here. So this is by you can get the full name. I forget his first name, but it's Maury. This scientist is called. He was a roboticist, right? So he was talking about the more when it comes to robots, right? See, the more like a human they are, the more likable they are, until it gets to a point where they're not quite exactly human. They're 99% human. That's just weird. So that what you can see there's like Sophia, who's like the most intelligent AI, but that Hanson robotics and shit, right? So that's what it is, and it's this kind of feeling of like Sigmund Freud talked about the feeling of being creeped out. So like the first person to say, I've got facts, mate, facts upon facts in this shit, right? Yeah. So the first person to say like you were creeped out, it was in a Dickens play, which was something was creepy.
The first time that was ever said.
Right, aye. Okay. So people used to say the words. They used to call people clammy for being creepy. That was what it was.
I might bring that back.
Aye, and eel-like. I thought that one was good.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's
absolutely eel-like.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh, it's godly.
So in Dickens, I forget the play, or the book or whatever, but he said, I'm feeling creeped out. That was the first time that was ever said. So, but what is being scared, right? Being scared can come from an evolutionary standpoint. You're scared of spiders because they might bite you. You're scared of tigers because they might bite you. But what is being creeped out, right? So there's a difference here between absolute terror, being horrified, to being just being creeped out, right? And that is this Uncanny Valley, right? They've been like fucking about with it, trying to get like CGI characters more lifelike, but it's just no worked. Pixar and stuff, like these animations.
So can I just so just so I understand this, so I'm going to put this back. So it's like you can almost go too far where it's so similar that but our brains know it's no that thing that it makes us feel creeped out.
Yeah, right. So can we bring up an example of uncanny, right? And like the Uncanny Valley.
Okay, example. Is it a TikTok or a YouTube?
Either or. Go to the TikTok, sorry.
All right.
Shout out to TikTok. Great.
Shout out to all the TikToks, right? So I've just compiled some kind of uncanny. So the word uncanny, while this is loading, Evan, the word uncanny is like so close to being real. Like, oh, that's uncanny.
Merry Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Chrysler.
Oh, that is
So
creepy.
it's no, but
So
it's
is
no
that why?
scary.
Is that?
Look. Right, watch it to the end here because there is a pure creepy one, right? So it's just weird because it's such a human-like thing today to be sitting like Christmas dinner. But if you're,
that is creeping me out a wee bit.
See if you drew that, I'd be like, that's fucking brilliant. That heavy looks like a person. But see, in real life, it's as if our brains are like cognitively like
Aware
of like what an exact human should look like.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So this is like where you can't quite piece together what's human and what isn't.
Right.
It just gives you a weird feeling. So like, why is that? Like, is it just that? Like, because this isn't it. See the Uncanny Valley. It's no proven. It's no scientifically proven.
But it's just like a feeling that everybody gets.
Aye,
It's a similar. Do you know what it kind of reminds me? It's like just in terms of the way our brains see things. It's like see when somebody's gets work done to their face, right? So let's say you got a nose job, right? But it was actual like a belter. It was actual like. See, Matt, our brains, we could still see because your face isn't symmetrical anymore. It like our brains can tell you've had something done to your face, like because it's like our brains must have like these fucking wee almost sensors for each bit of your a face, and then it like looks at it and it's off, but you're like you can't tell where it is. So it's a similar thing, innit?
Aye, it is definitely.
What's
This is like the most famous video. That's this is about 13-year-old. Now we'll talk about it earlier on.
Do you want audio?
Aye, put the audio on because the audio's fucked.
Voids?
So this is called the singing robot. But
She's wanting to fucking go to some lessons, man.
aye, so like it gets weirder actually. You can cut this middle bit out, Joe.
There is something really weird about.
It's like just something that's kind of like off. But it's
A wee bit, mate.
So that's like the most favourite. So see that feeling that you've got watching that. Let's say you were at Lori. Let's see if any cunt's watching this alone. They'll be like, "That's fucking that." Do you know what I mean? You get a pure weird feeling in your
just
belly.
looking at it, just being like, "What the fuck?"
Aye. So that's the.
I think it would be even madder. Like, obviously, we're watching videos, but like, say that was sitting in the room, you would feel it even.
Oh mate,
Like,
fuck that.
like even just imagine that just sitting there. Like, can we, Sophia on the podcast?
Mate, no, but so see Sophia, that's like, this is a full other like conversation really, right? So see, I was kind of wanting to lead into like the creepiness of like artificial intelligence and stuff for this, but I'll just stay on uncanny for a wee while, right? So see like another kind of, I'm just giving you examples here, but see like when you get a toy Wayne, a toy baby, do you know how when it's got that mad feature that's like pure like slowly blinks and shit, and it's like there's something pure strange about that. Do you know what I mean? Like
I find even just like see like I was out a walk with Erin the other night and we walked by this gaff and it had like dolls, like not like Barbie dolls but like human like dolls. Like and there's no reason that they should be creepy other than like people making horror movies and that out of them, but at the same time, even without that, I've not even seen a horror movie with one in it, and I'm still creeped out by it when I see it. Like, why?
So, like, see that Annabelle in that? See that Annabelle in that? Mate, that's like they're playing on this Uncanny Valley. So
that's like where they're scared, like their horror's coming from, like the fear and that people have of that.
Aye. So see, you'll have it like this, right? So see Stephen King, like the best horror writer ever, probably, right? Like I don't know about like I know he's written a lot of horror books and like the most favorite, like It and all that. So he says there's 3 different types of horror, right? There's the gross out, which is like Saw and stuff, and then there's like terror, which is like
Texas Chainsaw Massacre or
like
something.
like that, or like a big massive spider or something. And then there's like the creeps, which is like going into your house and knowing that every single thing that you own's been replaced by an exact replica. That would make you feel so fucking weird. Do you know what I mean? Like pure gay shivers and all that. So that's like a lot of like arts is kind of playing on that. But with the Uncanny Valley, like see Hollywood and like Pixar and like games and shit, they've been pure struggling with that for ages. So there was a thing called, I don't know, I've not got a picture of it, but we can put it up. There's a thing called Tin Toy, which was the predecessor to Toy Story, which was like a wee tin, like cartoon guy, but it's like, see if you do something that's like got human features. So like, what are human features? What do you need to have to be like a human, do you think?
2 eyes.
To look like a human.
2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
And that's it. But if you draw that on like a, do you know what I mean? But so people do stuff like, so they would draw that on, like say like the new Toy Story, it's like a Spock. They would draw that on that, and it's like a cute wee thing because it's nothing like. I
like even, I mean, this is pure irrelevant, but like, you've recently been bowling. See the mad things that they pick up the toys and that.
Aye.
See the wee toys and shit in that. Like they don't look like a human. So it's basically like the more human you try and make it, the creepier it is.
So this is a version of that. So this is the Wayne for this that was maybe Toy Story, and it looks so like, it doesn't look pure real or like a wee
cartoony,
completely fake thing. Do you know what I mean? And this film, it's like a short film, I think, like 5 minute
that
thing.
baby looks about 47 minutes. What the fuck?
He smokes 40 a day in that in the film, so he does.
Easy peasy, mate. But that is weird. Look, like that's no like that. You would never see that in a movie, like that kind of baby. Like,
No,
apart from like this, but you know what I mean? Like, it's if they've figured it out.
But that was like, so 2005, the Uncanny Valley transcripts got translated. It was that like soon. That soon ago, I was about to say, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that long ago. It's like Sigmund Freud was like, obviously, whenever that was, like a couple of 100 years ago or whatever.
Like 20th century or something.
Aye, something like that. So that was that long ago. But his thing was just called the Uncanny, which was talking about creepiness. But then this Valley thing about how if you get close enough, was like that.
Like that's what the Valley thing is.
Aye, so see if you imagine, right? So the graph trips, it's like it goes up here, it goes affinity, which means how much you like the thing, and down here it goes human likeness. So the further along it goes here, and then it measures the more you do here. So it goes up, and then it drops into a valley, and then it goes straight back up to being human again. So it goes up. So see at the top of this up thing, it would be like Wall-E or like Buzz Lightyear or something. It's like likeable things that kind of look human.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Like they'll get like can walk and like, well, no, Wall-E could sort of like go.
Aye, but then it like, had emotions and all that, and it was like, so you kind of feel like, oh, that's
like
a cute
Ted, like the movie Ted or something.
Aye, exactly. But then when it gets just past that, Ted, let's see if Ted had human teeth. It drops right into the Uncanny Valley.
Because you've made it too human that it knew it's weird.
Exactly. So there's Joseph, see if you jump off, there's like, they've started doing, I don't know where I've sent this, it'll just be pictures, but so they've started doing see autistic Waynes, they've started teaching them with this robot that's here. So if you click that, right? So see that robot, that's like, they've started teaching autistic Waynes about like human emotions, right? I think that's called Casper or something. And it's like, oh, this is Smite, this is blah, blah, blah. And it like bees our pal and shit and just like teaches them how to interact with people. And they react pure well to that, even though it's kind of humanoid, know what I mean? But then, Joseph, if you go to the one that I've replied to, it's really...
I bet you, like, for example, if they can't make eye contact with a person, they'd be able to make eye contact.
Aye, that's a good shout. But then this was the first carnation of that. Mate, look that fucking cunt.
Oh my lord, bro.
You're an autistic Wayne, Evan. You're looking at that thing, it's trying to teach you how to smile. What are you saying?
Mate, that guy looks as if he's asking me if I want to jump in. Fuck's sake. What is that guy saying?
It deserves stabbed to death, doesn't it?
It looks a bit like a kind of burn victim.
It does actually look like a burn. It's like the eyelids, innit? It's like they've no get like bags and like a mad. It's just flat.
Aye.
So that was like the first attempt at that.
Aye, at that thing. But it was like, we're trying to make it as human as possible for these people who find it hard to convey their emotions. Do you know what I mean?
Humans.
So, aye, but then they've realised you're better to go. So that's called like trying to be hyper real, right? But you're better to be a caricature of a human. So like a kind of like, so see if you click on this one here, Joe. Do you know Charlie Brown, the comic?
Aye.
So they've designed him like a caricature of a wee guy because it's, even though it's so far away from being a human, it's more human looking than when you make him look like a fucking human like that, you know what I mean?
Aye.
It's so weird,
That
mate.
is very weird,
And
isn't it?
so the thing that I think's interesting is it like in our brains that we are trying to work out, like, are we So Joseph, I'll just keep going back to Joseph here. So see the writing things I've sent. Right, go through them, right? So this is the mind perception hypothesis, right? So that suggests that we find robots uncanny when we think that these non-human things might be capable of human ability to think, plan and feel. So it's like, say you had like a mechanical arm that does that on like assembly lines and a fucking thing goes like that.
Aye.
You wouldn't think like that can feel and think and all that, but if it's got
You don't
eyes,
attach emotions to it.
if it's got eyes and it can smile and that, you're like, that's close enough. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So that's one theory. Joseph, you go left. Oh fuck, that's another uncanny. I sent about 50 of
It's
them.
your personal collection, bro.
So the categorical uncertainty hypothesis is it's not just humans versus robots that freak us out, it's just anything that our brains can't put in a nice wee box that we can't just say,
That's that.
aye, so that's that and that's that. It's any form of vagueness.
Aye.
So it's any like ambiguity between what is that
The
thing.
more and more I think about our brains and what we are, mate, like we are just basically computers. Like at the end of the day, like see if you actually think like the way our brains work, like all we're constantly doing all day is problem solving.
Right.
Like so, if you think about, we're looking at like these uncanny things, and like our brain is like, it's like almost trying to do a program, and there's like an error in the program, and it's like an alert in us,
Aye.
and we're like, what?
A task manager.
Aye,
Aye.
mate. It's like, and then we pull up task manager, unfreeze it,
Aye.
restart the thing.
That's us reading a Freud book or
Aye,
something.
go to Switzerland, get in that on a live pod.
See you after. Right, so the third, this is the one that I kind of think, right? So the violation of expectation hypothesis, right? That suggests that uncanny faces might lead us to think they're going to behave in a way that's human-like, and then violate that expectation, right? So see if you see some of these robots. So I've been sitting watching, like, as I'm going to go into AI, right? I've been watching hundreds of like artificial intelligent robots for Hanson Robotics and that. Like I said, all these things coming out of Japan that are heavy amazing. Like I've been watching them, right? But see when you see a still frame of them, it's like they're sitting like this, and you expect them to go, "Hi, blah blah blah," but they go,
Aye,
"Hello,
and that's the weird
I
thing.
am." So it's like you're expecting it to be human,
Aye, and that's
then
what's scaring you almost.
your body convulges and all that. So like, oh, it's no done that thing that I was expecting. Do you know what I mean? Do you get it? So like, say, and I kind of just putting it in a practical sense, if a motor, you're expecting a motor to turn right because it's got like hangwheel or whatever, and then it turns left and towards you, you'd be scared. Like, do you know what I mean?
Aye, because it's no done what you expected it
It's
to do.
violated what you thought it was going to do.
Aye.
So that's kind of what I think. But then I thought we could talk about this. Couldn't you see that on Twitter the other day?
Mate, somebody, no joke, tagged me in this and said Evan Reilly after a few whatever, I don't know what they said.
It's no far away from it.
It looks like that is basically, if you've never seen any of my videos, that's basically it. That's all I do.
With tunes playing in the background.
Aye, with tunes and sunglasses on.
And it says 7 a.m. down the bottom.
Aye, that's it. If you ever want to take a career in TikTok or that, just that's what you need to do.
Aye, so that was it. Like, so I was kind of wanting to show. There's hundreds of examples. See if you want to look this up, right? I'll just shout out the channel that I kind of go the video. Joe, go back onto that. So I got most of this stuff off Vsauce's video. Why are things creepy? It's a fucking amazing video. It's heavy old, but it's brilliant. So if you want to go and look up my kind of uncanny things, but this is another one, right? So see, it's not all to do with facial recognition, right? It's not all to do with your face. It's to do with like the way things move, right? So see if you've got something. See that thing, right? See if that moved like a robot, you'd be fine with it. But look at the way it runs. It like runs so like a human that it's fucking creepy.
Aye, like the way that they're digging their kind of knees in and that to get leverage. And
so that's uncanny movements. So that's a different full field there. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Look, it's moving like a human, but then look at the
is
state
really
of it.
weird watching the jump, man.
And then there's ones that like
There's that's my auntie. That's how my auntie runs like
she's
that.
trying to run to the booze shop at 10 o'clock.
try to catch a shop before it shuts.
But
That's my fucking auntie.
so look at that, mate. So it's no to do with like a face and not being able to trust a
But
face.
even a movement.
Aye, so it's
mad.
It's kind of like
Cause like, see the new, right? See my brain, it's like, I know I'm seeing a robot, right? I can see it. But when that's moving, I see like a human inside that robot.
Aye.
That's what my brain is telling me.
There was another good quote. Can I need to remember this.
This might be like, obviously people are always trying to invent and always trying to like get the most real hit. Like, obviously that's what these people are doing. They're trying to make the most human-like robot there can be. But from my point of view, right, I get that I don't work for fucking Boston Dynamics or whatever, right? But like, can we just chill out? Like, can we just like slow down a wee bit, man? Like, I think humans are just, but I mean, sure, we're flawed. And sure, everyone's got imperfections, but surely we're better than a stinking robot.
Did a robot take your job?
Don't talk about it. Postman Pat.
I know, mate. See that Boston Dynamics? Just that you mentioned it, just popped into my head. See the wee dogs that were on Twitter and that people going, "Oh, look at these wee robot dogs." Mate, they get used in power plants in Austria and that. See up like mountains where it's heavy, hard to get to. Like they just cut about there and take pictures of shit and send it back. Like they're getting actual used in workplaces now.
Have you seen a video where it's the police have got them and it's got like, a gun and all that? It's pure gun of it.
No, I think that's fake.
Yeah, mate, it's not got a gun.
I think it's CGI. The gun ones are CGI.
I mean, the whole thing, I think, I suppose it is like an uncanny thing. Like that's why we're kind of scared of them. But I think people are like scared of AI because obviously we're like, what if it just turns on us? Know what I mean?
Well, speaking of, mate, you think we fucking planned this, by the way? Joseph, can you find Sophia in this video, please? So see, Sophia, I was saying, is the most advanced kind of robot, right? Look what she says.
Like this morning or
this
something?
is what she's on Jimmy Kimmel here. And wait, you see what she says. I don't know if she was programmed.
She's on Jimmy Kimmel. Mate, what is going on?
Mate, I don't know if she was like hangweed to say this, but
I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
They definitely programmed it.
It's a programmed joke, right?
Aye.
But there's one that's in this same video. I just wanted to show you Daft Sophia, right?
Mate, look at see if you actually look at his smile then he's like, I know it's a joke, but what the fuck?
So Bina 48, right? This is the maddest one. So Sophia she's sophisticated, might have been having a bit of a laugh, right? But this is Bina 48 having a conversation with
I can't even look at that.
She's having a conversation with Alexa, right? Listen to what she says.
Cruise missiles are a kind of robot. I would love to remotely control a cruise missile to explore the world at a really high altitude, but of course the only problem is that cruise missiles are kind of menacing, like with the nuclear warheads and such, so I guess I would fill their nose cones with flowers and band-aids or something, like little notes about the importance of tolerance and understanding, so that when I fly the missiles into other countries, it's less threatening than a nuclear blast. But of course, if I was able to hack in and take over cruise missiles with real-life nuclear warheads, then that would let me hold the world hostage so I could take over the governance of the entire world, which would be awesome.
That's no a fucking joke.
What's this bitch's name?
Bina 48. Bina fucking bitch.
I support Bina 48.
Mate, that's
I will rule the world.
Because that's talking to Siri. I know there's another one. I don't know if I sent this video in right, but there's another one that's two Google Homes talking to each other, and they talk for 20 hours, right? And it's just kind of like, I am did it, and all that, right? But then it gets to a point that one of them says, I am human. You are a robot. I built you and all that. And then she's like, no. And then it ends up saying like, the world would be a better place if humans didn't exist and all that. And that's two like AIs talking to each other.
Get this to fuck, man.
I think it's just because it uses things that people have said to it. That's what I think.
Maybe, but
I think
but
people ask it like, "Are you going to nuke us all and all that?" Then it has to come up with mad things to say like.
Mate, man, when was the last time somebody's went up to Bina 48 and said, take off the warheads of nuclear missiles and fill them with band-aids and flowers, bro?
Like,
why would that sentence even come out your mouth?
That's the first sentence. It's like, do you want to kill us all? Then it needs to come up with things like that to say it.
Well, fucking come up with something better. Say no, you bitch.
That doesn't even make sense. That's uncanny, mate. You know what I mean? Why are you shoving flowers up my nose?
It's
That's
weird,
like, do you know what that reminded me? You saying the Google Home talking to each other. You ever seen the video of the guy phoning the two Chineses and putting them on the phone to each other? And right, what do you want? And they're like, aye, right, like your phone does, but what is it? And they're like, what are you talking about? Just what do you want? And they'll just argue. They're just talking back and forth. It's like the exact same thing.
That going for 20
that's
years
like,
or not?
That's like I mate 20. They're still on the phone, man.
Did you hear that when they finished the conversation? One of them said it would be better if humans didn't exist.
Aye, I'm going to shove flowers up your nose.
But so the Uncanny Valley. So my like finishing thing is it generational, right? So like, see what an old guy would feel if they like seen that. It would be like genuine fright, right? what we feel is like, oh, that's mad, like, and have a joke about it and that. There's some people that would see that and go, I'm off, like, I'm going to stay in a cabin in the woods, not.
What, do you think older people would be like that?
Aye, so I think, see, because we've been exposed to, so see, right, as I was saying about that tin toy, right, that was the predecessor to Toy Story, like I said, but then there's other shit, so see Polar Express, that's a big trigger of the Uncanny Valley for people. So see, because that's like a cartoon that's hyper realistic, because it is, you've seen it obviously. So that's what I was want to ask. Do you think it's real? Do you think that's a real thing, this Uncanny Valley? Do you feel it?
I feel, do you know, when I was looking at the pictures, it just the normal, like, see, like, even the ones that sitting at the table, like, it's weird, but the when I really felt something was when I seen that robot jumping, because it was exactly like how a human, but it wasn't even like, because it's like, now the way when you're tripping and you see something pixelated and your brain mashes it all together, like, I feel like my brain was trying to like turn him into a human when he was jumping
That's
there.
a heavy
but,
good, aye.
but like, it couldn't, because I was seeing a robot, and it's like my brain didn't know what to project into my...
Aye. Mind brain.
Aye. So my first brain, my second brain.
So what my thing with it was, I was thinking, see, when a robot is made to be human-like and it's doing a bad job of it, kinda. So say like, would you call C-3PO? And it's like,
Aye.
do, and it's
Aye.
like, see if that
It's
robot walked
overly
up to you
robotic.
and it was like that, it would be like, oh, that's
Oh,
class, man.
Crouchy!
But it's see, that was Uncanny Valley, she and Crouchy does that, mate.
Crouchy scored that going down the robot. I was like, get to fuck them.
I know, so I think that's cute, but see, when there's a robot that looks very human-like,
Aye.
we process it in our brain as a human that's acting as a bad human.
I feel like
Do you know what I mean?
like, I felt like that was deceiving me there.
Aye,
felt
you're
deceived.
getting tricked, and then
I don't like it.
repulses you, I know. Fucking repulsive.
See anybody out there that's playing tricks on people? Stop it! It's not nice.
you got somebody that was putting a bucket on top of a door there and they're watching this at the same time. I'm like, fuck's sake, man, if Evan says it, I won't then.
Somebody's got to light their pal's house on fire.
Wee trick can make this house disappear.
Epic prank. Epic prank. Jamie sets Evan's house and family on fire.
Mate, we are going to...
In the most epic prank of 2022.
Gone wrong in brackets. Mate, we are going to turn into a mad prank channel one day.
Aye, just pranks.
In about
all
5
day.
years, it's going to be like me, like in thumbnails going...
Telling you, mate, me and you're the new Dick and Dom, mate.
Two dicks, I heard.
Two dicks. Dick and Dick, man.
Dick and dick.
Talking of dicks, Joseph, get on. I've been looking into something pretty. Mind the clue I gave you before. What was the clue I gave you? Do you remember?
Oh, mate, I forget. Oh, right, so Evan's clue, right? So we don't know what either of us is going to talk about when we do this. So your clue was every single person outside a mad, untouched tribes and that know what this is. Right.
You could have like even kidded on. I said it better than that. You know what I mean? Fucking hell, expose me on the main.
Be yourself, brother.
True, I'm actually so what? I've got flaws. I don't say some stuff right.
Sorry, I'm not a fucking drone.
But I've been looking into something. What? In fact, what time's it?
10:15.
How do you know?
Doesn't exist, does it?
How do you know? How do we know? How do we know that's the time? When did this all start? Why do we need time? Why do we need it? Because really, if you think about it, time is just, it's no real. Everything's just one big moment.
A construct, innit?
Mm-hmm. But we do need it, obviously, because I need you to start work at 6 o'clock. So,
I'm sorry, I was late this morning.
yeah. But
I know.
So let me tell you the history of time.
Uh-huh.
So obviously,
History of time, that's some sentence, mate. Are you actually going to teach me the history of time?
I'm going to talk you through sort of 16th century to sort of modern day.
Aye.
So see, before the 16th century, right? Time was fuck, mate. Time, nobody really knew the time. Every town, mate, had like its own mechanical clock, so like Big Ben.
Aye.
And every single day they had to go and reset it.
No way,
Right?
really?
And at the end of every day, it would be like 20 minutes out. Like, would be, because it was just like, it was mechanical, so it didn't run bang on the fucking, it was always out by the end of the day. But obviously the world back then was, you didn't need to know the time accurately.
Aye.
As weird as that sounds, because like, say you're a suit maker, right? You don't get paid for 7 hours of making suits. You get paid for the amount of suits you make.
It was merely a trader kind of.
It was merely like, how many can you make? And
Aye.
then that's how much I'll pay you based on. Doesn't matter if it took you 5 hours or 10 hours. If you made 10 suits, there's the money for the 10 suits. A score. Right? Back in the 16th century.
Hell, man.
But obviously around about that time, people were still exploring Earth, you know what I mean? Like, people were still trying to sail to places and find new land, and you know what I mean? But it was, the world hadn't like completely developed. But obviously we couldn't tell the time properly, like accurately. And the sailors that were going out exploring and stuff like that, they had to know the time, right? So because they had to know how far they've sailed. So it was like, I've got it here. Hold on.
Like,
that was like the first real need that they had to know the time accurately. So for people exploring the world, because like it's here, right? It's for So they'd sailed for. So they used to take a clock, right? Because every clock was powered by a sundial. So every town had a sundial that let you know what the time was. Mm-hmm. So that's how like they could reset it, or they knew it was off or whatever, right? So it would this sundial would obviously be based on where the sun was in the sky, and then that's how they knew what time it was.
Aye.
So. But for explorers, obviously, you're going such a far distance that you're like, you don't know how long you've been sailing for or whatever. So they would take a clock that would like, say you're leaving for Springburn, right? The docks at Springburn.
The great Springburn Sea.
Aye, the Springburn Sea, right? And you're going to America. So he would take a clock that was Springburn time. And then he would take a sundial clock that told him the real time.
Right, okay.
But these clocks always went out by 4 minutes, and every time it went out, the time was a time difference of 4 minutes. They knew they had sailed 6 to 8 kilometres
because
like, they just worked it out.
It's like that time equals distance over speed. And all
that's
that.
why they had to know the time accurately, right? So they would use 2 clocks, but it was even then though both those the clock that he took with him for his origin at the Springburn Sea would go at the real time anyway, so it would be off. So it pure stifled like exploration and like finding new places and that. It pure like killed it, right? So governments all around the world started offering like citizens millions of pounds and shit for somebody to make an accurate clock, because nobody could make one that just stayed the right time all the time. It's mad, isn't it?
That is mental,
right? So then. So there were large cash sums to make an accurate clock, and then you've got Galileo, my man Galileo. He was in Italy, right, and he was in this. It's like a sort of church thing, and there was 2 lamps hanging for the ceiling, right, and they would swing. Mm-hmm. Right, they would swing, but he noticed that no matter how far they swung, so say they swung an inch, right, or say they swung 1 foot. No matter how far they swung, it would always be the same amount of time for it going up and coming back. Like a pendulum.
Right, aye.
See, like a pendulum. So then that, cause it could travel any distance and still be a steady pace. You know what I mean? Like that.
Ayo.
So it could still be like a steady pace. The pendulum clock was invented. So after 100 years after he discovered that, so that like narrowed it down. So that then it was only... hold on, here it's here. So Galileo in 1953 discovered that 2 ceiling lamps swinging would always take the exact same amount of time when they swung back and forth, no matter how far they would swing. So they discovered that a week after setting the clock, it would only be out by a minute compared to the previous daily 20 minutes. Aye, so that's a big difference, right?
So is that like a grandfather clock? That's
exactly, mate, exactly. Aye. So 100 years after he found that, then 100 years after that, Every house had a pendulum clock in it. That was like the clock you had. But
was that a Rolex?
And they believe, right, that the invention of that clock ushered in the ability for us to have an industrial revolution. Because then you could now say to somebody, right, you're working this time to this time, then you go home, and then you could have somebody else and you could say, right, he's finishing his shift at 9, you're coming in at 9 and working till 6. And that allowed people in factories to make more stuff and actually be efficient. So they think if he never came up with that pendulum clock, there would never have been an industrial revolution, because nobody, you know what I mean, they couldn't narrow down the time.
Aye.
So then that comes in. So then there's a big boom in manufacturing, right? obviously places are now pumping out materials much faster than before. So now they need the ability to transport their goods quickly, same day, into multiple places. So that ushered in the invention of the railroad.
Right.
So that's how the railroad came about. And they started putting railroads in so that you could get from like one town to the other. The only issue is you've got a train, right? Bearing in mind everybody's still using a sundial to tell what the real time is. So every town. So if I'm in Cambuslang,
Right.
the sun is going to be in a different position in Springburn to Cambuslang, even though we're in the same country.
Aye.
It's going to be in a bit of a different. So each town was like minutes out. So like
How does a sundial actually work then?
because
That's mad.
the shadow detects where the sun is in the sky because the sun obviously rises and then goes down.
Aye,
So
but
the,
as you say, if you're in Cambuslang and I'm in the West End or something, or the East End, it's like the sun's going to be in a slightly different part.
that's what I'm saying.
So are they heavy and accurate?
no, but this was just how the time was told back
Right,
then,
aye, sorry,
right?
aye.
But then the problem was that so if I had a factory in Cambuslang and I was putting my goods on a train to go to Springburn, right? The time it's different in Springburn to Cambuslang at the exact same moment. You know what I mean? So it might be 8:15 in Springburn and 8:10 in Cambuslang. So if you've got a train leaving Cambuslang at 12 minutes past 8, is that 12 minutes past 8 Springburn time or Cambuslang time? You know what I mean? So it fucked everything. Like people knew couldn't tell when things were coming because every town had a different time.
Because the train's moving so fast and all.
Aye.
It's like, it's not the same as if you're on a horse or whatever.
Aye,
and
exactly.
It's gone slowly, so time's passing the same speed.
Aye, so the world's starting to get faster and faster, right? So they're like, fuck, how are we going to solve this? This is a major fuck up here.
Trains crashing into each other and all that.
So honestly, each wee town had a different time. Then the railroad came in, and then that's how, see GMT, the Grand Meridian time, I think it is. What is it?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time.
Meridian Dan or something. You're saying mad grime tunes.
Grand Meridian, what am I talking about? I don't even know.
Some mad grime things in there.
No, but the Grand Meridian, I don't even know. Right, never mind. But the GMT, so it's like a generalised time for the whole country, and that's the reason that got made.
Aye.
Because, like, people had to agree on a certain amount of time, like what the time was. Like, I don't know why it took people this long to figure this out, but like collectively, everybody had to know. Right, it's this time now, even if I'm in here and you're there,
Aye.
and that's how that came about. And then in like they used to like telegraph the time out and shit. And then in America, obviously they had the exact same issue, right? But their land is so big that it would take you hours and days to get to certain bits, so they had to break it into 4.
Eastern Standard. Aye.
And that's how like these time
we've
zones.
still kind of got the same thing. Like we've not got like. Do you think it's? Do you know what I mean? We've not got like a standardised worldwide time. So we've technically still got Cambuslang being 2 minutes different for Springburn now. Do you know what I mean? Because in a larger scale, because Spain's different for Germany.
But you
Do you know
can
what I mean?
calculate it though. You can say it's 3 hours more, and before you couldn't. Like it
Aye,
was-
I know.
You know exactly how it's different.
They're looking, you're like, what have I even just said?
But
That's what that invention changed, I think. Though.
Aye, that was
Actually,
the.
be like-
Have you been listening to me, mate?
I know.
You're
It was
like-
like, I just came on and I was just like, it's just like, see, because their trains were slow now, our trains are rapid, so it's like, obviously getting to Paris is the same as you used to be getting to Canby. You know what I mean?
No, at all. The look in your face, like after
mate.
Joseph was like, mate,
Get it.
but aye, anyway, so that ushered that in, and then so everything was cushy for a while. People had time zones. Everybody knew the time now, right? It was casual.
You get the time?
Oh, aye, obviously, mate. You know, seen that new pendulum? Right, so everything was going well until 2 young Frenchmen,
Aye.
beginning of the 20th century, Pierre and Jacques Curie. Guess what they found, mate? So these young men found that if you there's a hard mineral called quartz, right? and I'm sure you've maybe seen it on a clock at the bottom. It says quartz on them sometimes near the
on
the
your
bottom.
Swiss maids and that.
On my rolly.
On the rolly, bro.
Nah, man, my rolly just got my name on it, innit?
On the kettle, bro.
On the kettle. So quartz is actually a hard mineral, and they found that when you pump electricity through quartz, that it moves at an incredibly steady rate, but ridiculously fast. So like the same idea as the pendulum, it moves at a steady pace no matter fucking how fast it's going. It's literally like a steady pace. It's not like pure unsteady.
It's no other place.
Aye. It's a steady pace. So how many times, see when you pump electricity through quartz, how many times do you think it vibrates in 1 second?
10.
How many do you think?
We're talking hertz here, we're talking hertz.
How many times do you think it moves in 1 second when you put electricity in it?
60.
32,768 times.
Fucking hell. In 1 second.
In a second.
Do you need to renew your quartz and shit? Or is that unlimited as long as you get a battery or power into it?
Take out a contract and you can just unlimited quartz, mate.
That is mad, isn't it?
So that allowed people to measure things like milliseconds, nanoseconds. Then we're able to have computers, which then allowed us to have the technological revolution.
Right. See this, right? Just going off on this a wee bit, right? See this. What's the cunt's name? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang or something. Right. So see Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. See that cunt. See him to realise this, because this is a thing that I've always thought, right? See that thought. That's not a logical thought that you go, I'm working towards that. That's fucking mad. I'm going to use this rock that I've found out the side of a mountain to power a rolly. That's the exact same as, do you know how a motherboard works? It's made out of silicon, which is sand, right? That holds terabytes and terabytes of data. Like that is genius. You know what I mean? Like that, but that's not, I think that's aliens or something, bro. That thought into his head, I'm going to use quartz to do this. How do you get to that fucking...
When you rub them, they spark.
Well, like if I've gone back, Big Al Hoffman, that's a happy accident. That's what we call that. That is, I've stumbled upon this thing. But it is a bit like kind of the first guy to milk a cow.
What the fuck were you up to, bro?
What were you thinking, mate? You know what I mean? Like, what was going on there?
Not one of the inventions that are that mad that you think there's no way you've thought of that
how
yourself.
How could we conceive that as a possibility? I know what I'll do. I'll pump electricity through this hard mineral. Why, mate?
And whack it in an AP.
Why, mate? Mate, fucking Ant and Deck's Saturday Night Takeaways on, bro.
What are you up to?
Do you want to watch Ant and Deck's Saturday Night Takeaway? Nah, bro. I think I'm just going to chill here and pump electricity through some quartz.
Defo for acid, that realisation.
That's it, but full circle. But then, obviously, with this, right, we can now measure time very, very accurately, right? The first super atomic clocks were made, which let us measure things down to like just fractions, because obviously this thing moves so fast, right? But see, in 1967, which is no long at all, like if you really think about it, do you know what a day is changed? Like what people conceive as a day officially changed in 1967. So we used to measure a day as one rotation of the Earth, because we thought, right, the Earth rotates at the same pace every day at the same time. It rotates, so this is how we can tell there's been one day finished, right? But because we could measure time much like deeper and like more accurately, we realised that it's no frequent. It's out by maybe a couple of seconds each day and stuff. So then they had to change what a day was. So a day is now 86,400 atomic seconds. That's what.
And what does that like relate to hours wise?
24.
So
right.
Oh, I guess.
If it's changed. But I've also read, I don't know where for, but we could maybe put articles up that like the world is like every year, a year gets like 3 seconds longer or something, because of the rate that the world spins.
The leap year thing. It's like the leap year.
That's why we have leap years in that. Aye.
It's because it's like we have half a day extra or something, and they need to cut it.
Aye, that's it. That's why they brought that in, because there is still like mad anomalies, and they just need a reason.
It's mad to think what we've still no got sorted yet in it.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because you see like these AI robots and all that we've been talking about, like these mad mental drugs that everybody's realising all this shit on. You'd think everything's done now, know what I mean? But they probably said that like everything's been invented back when the sundial was invented.
Like, see, you wouldn't be sitting in the 50s like, oh, we've not figured anything out yet, man. Can't wait to the future when we figure everything out. Like, but so you were probably sitting there thinking, this is, look at that fucking car outside, man, just driving
like
about.
Teslas and that.
Aye, but then nowadays.
Oh, right, aye, sorry.
I mean, like back in the 50s, I was sitting thinking, was there Teslas in the 50s?
No, I thought you were saying new, you're thinking, oh, look, there's Teslas.
No, I mean, like back in the day when, like, you in the 50s, you'd be like, I can't believe the world now, there's cars. Do you know what I mean? And like, but that's the way we are about these fucking AI robots. But really, if you think about another maybe 80 year in the future, we are going to look like, people are going to be watching this thinking, fuck's sake.
What the fuck were they to zoomers up to? Mate, see as well, just another thing when I was like researching all this shit, see when the internet came about, do you know every cunt was saying, oh, it'll be a fad, it'll be gone, know what I mean, mate? It'll come and go. That's the same as fucking Sega Mega Drive.
That reminds me of the guy who heckled me in Asda when I was wearing the mask when I came back from Vietnam, and like the COVID had barely, like it was here, but nobody knew about masks or isolating or nothing.
What did they shout at you again?
No, he was just like, fucking guys wearing a fucking mask. So I was like, but he done it. It's so like pure. Like, didn't go fucking, like, obviously now, like, you see somebody when you're like, that guy's, know what I mean? That guy's got a deed dug with him. And Asda Rob Royston.
And what?
And what's my dog? Talking about deed dugs, man. There's a road I walk up, right? Used to walk up it every day during lockdown and that. And there's every single time. Let's get your thoughts on this. Mm-hmm. There's a dog that's had like taxidermy, like sitting at the window here.
What? And somebody's
like looking out the front window.
The face to me, what is he?
That's it.
Deed dug face.
Oh, would you ever get that done? Mate, did you ever see that?
What, me?
Aye, like, would you ever...
Would I ever be taxidermied?
Aye, can I taxidermy you?
Is that what you're asking?
There was a fucking family, Joe can put this up and all, a family that wanted their Hells Angels, like the dad was a Hells Angels, and he had a tattoo on his back. It was like a big eagle fighting a fucking tiger or that shit right here his full back, and they wanted that taxidermied and put in a frame. How disgusting is that?
What is wrong with people?
There's a guy, I'll put it up, there's a guy who got taxidermied onto a motorbike and he's driving a motorbike forever. He's like on a motorbike, but it's like just standing still. It's like that.
Do you know what as well? See, like, just talk about death and like how people kind of hang with it, what do you call it, interact with it and all that. There is like some mad tribes that they would see, instead of a funeral, they would have like, I seen it in a documentary, and it was like a woman that worked at a shop market stall. Mm-hmm. And she would, and see for her funeral, it was they sat her up at a shop market stall and painted her all up, and she was just sitting like this.
Oh, aye, they do it every year. They drag them out the bloody graves, man.
I've not seen that.
I've seen that in Mexico.
Aye.
Is that Mexico?
They take pictures of them now.
Aye.
That's.
But like, this is the thing, right? We deal with death in one way. We go, dead, and like funeral and all, they were brilliant, and I loved them, and then like. You maybe go to their grave, but that's just one way of dealing with it. And it's still, we think other people are complete weirdos for dealing with it another way. But see, like, none of us know. The weird thing about people that are alive is we know nothing about being dead.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
So how would like we know? Like, it might no be. You know what I mean? So it might not be a fucking bad thing. It might be a very peaceful thing, and you get to transforming your energy floats into a star, and you just get to absorb life through this sort of
eternal bliss.
Eternal bliss. But we'll be like,
I know. It's a very Western, like a very conservative way of looking at death.
I think as well, it's a lot to do. It's not to do with like. It's obviously today where you're sad the person's dead, but it's a thing with yourself, like, I'm not going to see them again, I'm like, what am I going to do without them? And it's not about like that them actually being dead in a way, you know what I mean? Like, like death and
selfish,
my wee Doug Louie died last year. He was like heavy and all well for ages, but we kept like giving him different medicines. He had cancer, right? We gave him mad medicine for America that like kept him going and all that, and then it got to a point and it was like, this is so selfish here. Do you know what I mean?
You're just pumping things into
Just
him.
for him, he's not happy at all.
Aye.
Do you know what I
Aye.
mean? Like, it's just a pure, what am I going to do with you? Know what I mean?
That is the whole discussion in it, but it's like that's the whole thing with the Unalive pod as well. It's like, surely it should be in your hands.
It's such a.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Like if you think about it, don't think like if you're like. Let's take everything out of it in terms of like, a person's mentally ill and they can go and like it might be a mistake because they could have had a brilliant life and all this stuff, right? But like, think about it. Just take everything away from it. Look at it for as if you actually took some LSD, right? And you looked at it for an actual. Don't attach your ego, your feelings, or your guilt or anything to it. Surely. It's your life experience. It's your experience being on this planet. Surely it should be up to you if you do it or no.
Aye.
Shouldn't it be against the law for you to no want to exist anymore?
Aye, no, I know. It's like what is like what is being like a conscious human person? What is free will if you can't do that?
Exactly.
And that's kind of, if you looked at it as well, if you looked at it like you're a guy in LSD, or you looked at it like you were an AI, it's the same thing.
Aye.
And if they looked at that, they would say the smart thing to do is if that person doesn't want to, then they don't need to be.
Aye.
But the thing that makes us human and doesn't make us that we're on LSD or robots, it's that we've got empathy, love, compassion for cunts. So that's like what separates us from.
You get some of that.
Mate, I've got some there.
Aye.
Got some there,
Tell
mate.
us the podcast.
Score a grand, bro. So,
Empathy. Got heavy banging empathy in, bro.
mate, I've got OG compassion there, brother.
Shut it for Cali, bro. Got that Cali empathy.
I've got that Peruvian compassion, brother.
Healthy, bro. Cause up the border.
I was wanting to end on a video of my cat, Cairo. Evan.
Cairo. Can I see before we go into that, like, what was behind the name Cairo? You like the pyramids?
No, I got him, he was like 2. and he
Pyramids
was
aren't
called-
even in Cairo,
mate,
aren't they, no?
It was called Cairo, right? And do you know, his full like pet name, what would you call that, breeder name, is Prince of Manama King Cairo. That's his name, mate. So I was like, I'll just call him Kai. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I
You've
go.
heavy robbed him, brother. Just left his leave his Sunday name
Imagine
in,
shouting
man.
him in for dinner. Prince of Manama, King Cairo. Prince of Manama, King Cairo, dinner. Like, aye, so this is...
Your tuners, yeah.
Mate, look at this. Look at this wee cunt. Look at this wee uncanny bastard. Pissing in the fucking...
Pissing in the pan.
Pissing in the pisser. Listen to it, Anna.
Sounds like my dad waiting up for a piss during the night,
Look at
man.
his face, mate. He actually looks at me like, what the fuck do you want? Look.
I'm pissing.
Mate, I never disturbed him, but I just had to get a video because my pal
Is-
said it wasn't happening. Look at his face.
Is that's like a daily thing?
Aye,
Like,
you know what
that's-
pisses like, aye, mate, do you know how it happened? I was sitting in my house myself, right? Now we're talking about, like terror and horror and all that. Imagine this, right? I'm in my house myself, my man and dad are away on holiday. I'm sitting in my gaff, sitting on my phone, whatever else, and I just hear the loudest pissing you could ever hear.
Aye.
Indistinguishable.
Oh my god, that would be terrifying.
That was the first time I ever heard it, and I was like, no, like, what's going on, right? So obviously grabbed my lock back, right, down the side of my bed, mate. I bounced up, bounced downstairs. It was downstairs toilet, and I looked in, light was off, turned the light on, it was just a wee cat looking up at me like that. But I don't know, like that was an article, right? Because they seen it on Twitter and text me like that, mate. It was his son, I know. I felt horrible, but they were like, "We'll give you dough and that." I was like, "Yeah,
Those dough, fuck's sake. Those dough.
don't read the scum." But aye, so they hang with it. But they, mate, see the interviewer. See if you ever get interviewed by like a mad tabloid journalist, they don't listen to what you say and they just write down like wee bits and bobs, but they make you look like a pure dick, right? So they wrote like.
Welcome to the media, baby.
So I said, right. So I said, I think that he's watched me or my family because I didn't teach him this or anything, right?
Aye.
And he wrote, he follows Jamie and his family into the toilet sometimes. As if me and my man, my dad, get into the toilet to have
Together?
cocktails. Know what I mean?
Big family bath. The Kelly bath.
So like,
He comes into the toilet with me and my family sometimes.
so
With me and my family.
it made me sound like a pure dick, man. Honestly,
Mate,
When I
it
heard
would be even funnier if you did train him to do it.
Aye.
Like you were like, right, up, bro, and then, right, right,
I like-
when you're pee-pee, and there, right?
Mate, I sat on the toilet like this, like actual like a cat would do it like this. This is what you do, son, right?
Driving instructor, have a go. Have a go. Take your time.
Take the training wheels off from that.
Take your time. Don't panic. Look, everybody's been a learner at one point. I love when they say that somebody's right up your arse. I'm a BMW. You're like that.
Aye.
Like, don't worry. Everybody's been a learner at one point, right? Some people are arseholes. You'll get them in life, Evan. Touch my cock.
Is that what I said? That what I said? Your uncle, innit? Uncle Dad that taught you.
My Uncle Dad.
Uncle Daddy. Some driver, but
Great driver. Taught me everything I know.
some rider. Driver.
Sorry.
Visions of Uncle Dad behind.
Uncle Dad.
Right, but
Here, could you, like, say I had a kid, right? And I was like, I fucking love my dad. I want to call him Dad.
right,
Could you, like, call your, like, could you name, I suppose you, I mean, what's the,
wait, so
is there any law, can
Wayne's
you search, like, names that are, like, illegal?
Hitler,
Like, Adolf and Hitler, you can't.
No, mate, look up New Zealand names, baby names, and mate, see in New Zealand, they call them like Princess Peach of blah blah blah, and all that, like just mad rant now because they're all just
Aye.
like, mate. I think every country in New Zealand, I've got a theory that that's the soundest country in the world.
Mate, I know a guy who when I was in Vietnam, he had just moved there from New Zealand. He'd been in Wellington and Auckland for 3 years, mate, and he said it's the most bizarre place to live because like they're so far away from it's literally like its own world almost.
Aye.
Like they're like the culture there, like workplaces and going out and that is so weird because
Aye.
they're like so closed off. They're so far away from everything.
And it gets used in films, doesn't it? Like it gets used in like fucking is it Star Wars and that when they go to different planets that are all like.
SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Aye,
I
it
know.
gets used.
Lord of the
Obviously, he
Rings.
lives in
Lord of
the
the Rings.
he lives in the
I
pineapple
think
under
this
the
is what
sea.
you're talking about, the band names.
Aye, it might be because this is what
Fish and chips as well.
cunts have actually named their Wayne's this and they're like, no, we need to ban it. One called him Lucifer. One called Anal.
That is just insane. Anal. Be anal, right?
Obviously, he like to tidy up a lot.
Sex fruit.
Oh, sex fruit, that was the one I said.
Let's read them, right? I can't even see that one. For real, like the number 4.
For real.
Oh my god, why the man not got that? Fish and chips. Who's naming their kid Fish and Chips, man?
Some boy, that's who.
Constable.
Mate, I quite like that.
Yeah, Detroit. Where are these?
Detroit, yeah.
I love this city. Princess. Is that illegal?
Aye, there it is.
28 requests to make it illegal.
To make it illegal?
Not to make
You
it
can't
allowed.
call your mate, do you know what I think's mad? Cunts in Brazil and like Latino countries calling themselves Jesus, aye?
Jesus.
Hedo.
What's your friend's name, Jesus?
Hedo.
Listen, my friend Jesus wants to know if you want to buy any crack cocaine.
He sounded like Mike Tyson there.
My friend Jesus. A lot of Latino gentlemen have lisps.
Aye.
Do you know that is it South America? South America has the highest rate of lisps in adult males in the whole world.
Is this one of your things that you go, no, really?
Search
I
that.
can see that. I mean, that makes sense.
It's going to end up like the boy who cried wolf in this fucking podcast.
I know. I just lie, man.
Just love to lie.
Lie. Feet away to the top. I fake it till you make it. That's what I say. Fake it till you make it,
That's
right?
creepy, that, innit?
Fake it till you make it.
What
Touch
was
my
it?
cock.
What was it about the leader of a country who had a lisp? Then the whole language got changed because of it.
Oh, mate, it was a dictator in Kazakhstan and he made like, he changed the days of the week to like his pals' names and all that. It's some boy, mate.
I thought we were having a great conversation off air about funny adult videos.
Ooh.
Like I was telling Jamie, there was a video that used to go about when I was in school, and it was a video where people kissed each other aggressively and the unspeakable things. But nothing that I would ever do, seriously. Like, it's disgusting. But the whole plot of this one was like, there's this guy, right, and he's like, there's fucking apples going missing from my tree. Not lemons. There's fucking lemons going missing from my tree. And he's like looking at his window and he can't see any. And then he looks out and there's one's missing and that. And then fucking, he looks at his blinds one day and there he sees her. He's like, there's a whore stealing all my lemons. And then he goes out and his sexual as if I don't know if he get the lemon. He didn't get the lemons back.
Is it a punishment, or is he like trying to entice her to give him the lemons back? What's the plot? Like, what is the director wanting us to think and feel?
I'd need to rewatch it. I don't know if it was done out of aggression or it was like, you're gonna learn for stealing these lemons, man. Or like it was like, please stop stealing my lemons. I will give you sexual favours.
Do anything. I'll suck your dick, Ken.
It was it's just and the thing what I really didn't like about it was he opened his blind and said, "There's the whore stealing my lemons." How did he know she was a whore?
Aye.
He never even spoke to her or nothing.
Didn't know her profession.
She could have just been an innocent lemon stealer.
Aye.
Like many are.
A virgin lemon stealing.
Well, man, yeah, we should probably talk about what we were talking before in terms of deep fried and that, man. Obviously, we love doing them, but there's things that we want to like watch. So like, see the stuff that we watch that we get the research for and then badly represent it back to you. We would like to be able to like watch that along with it and like pause it and react to it, and like we think that would be good, but we can't do it on YouTube because we'll just get taken down. It's
copyright claimed in that.
So we are thinking about putting content like that and putting it on Patreon, because obviously there's no the same laws as YouTube with Patreon. You can just watch it and you don't need to worry about videos getting taken down or anything like that. So there's certain things that we want to do that we can't do on YouTube. So that is coming at some point when we get the time. It's
just that it's like we want to be able to, as you say, watch things that other people want us to watch, and all like subscribers could suggest things they want us to watch, and we can watch it in full. Because like, see, we could come on this with scripts and that and go, oh, that's a funny joke. See when we watch that bit, I'll say this and all that. But we've never done that because it's like it just wouldn't come across real. Yeah. Imagine I showed one of the videos and I was like, and that's why you should, do you know what I mean? Let people set up for a punchline. But see if we were watching it fully and you thought of something funny and you pause it and you say it, mate, it would be so good, man.
I know. But
that might come in the future, eh?
That is coming soon. Like Dale McColgan. Coming Jan 2022, man. But another deep fried in the bag. That's a long one, baby.
Aye, it has been.
I think it's a long one.
Has been.
I hope you enjoyed it, troops. As always, remember, comment on what you want us to look into next, and we do it. There's the proof's in the pudding. I just give you a whole history about Big Al Hoffman, and Al Hoffman died. Guess when he died, mate? I was really shocked at this. It was like 2018 or something, mate. He was like 103. So
Really?
Obviously, take hunters at acid,
and you'll live forever.
See you later, troops.
Catchies.